Which network
Can you
is
see me
bad?
clearly?
I mean, I'm back in Nigeria, so yes, Nigeria network
Ah,
as
Dr.
usual.
Stephen, you are punishing us. When you were in
But
America, we're enjoying you. That's why I want us to invest in America so that we can have good network.
how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I was saying before you came, when I posted the topic, learn how to invest in America, only 80 people showed up. I ended the live, I changed it to Bobrisky update. Brrr, everywhere full. I now realize that we're our own problem.
Yeah,
You
we
see, I was
are.
saying something before you cut off. I said Dr. Stephen believes in tithe. Me, I don't believe in tithe. But you see, it is not whether you tithe or whether you don't tithe. It is what you do with the 100% or the 90% that you have left.
Abio. Very true.
If you are a tither and you embezzle the 90%, that 10% will not turn to diamond.
Absolutely.
And if you are a non-tither and you chop everything, it's the same poverty.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So instead of
our
gather,
people need to be willing, yeah.
Because you see, one thing I always say is, I listen from people and learn. Because if you haven't walked a path before, ask those who have.
Very true. Very true.
Learn from people who have ideas. Expose yourself. Malaria, when they catch every day, we know they buy us. We go get fever, we go sleep, we go vomit, we go get headache. One Oyinbo woman, we never catch malaria before, come. She catch malaria like they cut off her 2 hands and her 2 legs. She has never been exposed to it before. It hit her at once. She had no resistance to it. Yeah. That's the same way investment works for some people. Because you have never exposed yourself to it before. This one our power grid we fail, Dr. Stephen, no vex. Power grid. You know we are back home.
God will help us in Nigeria. God will help us in Nigeria. Go. Funny enough, I mean, Falana is our most senior lawyers. We work with different law firms. Falana is our most senior lawyer, and I can tell you, of the 5 law firms we work with in Nigeria, the only law firm that does not remind us whether we have paid retainer or not is Falana. The only law firm, and we are business, so we are not charity or anything, core business. But the only law firm that does not emphasize money, right, in doing their job with us is the Falana law firm. So I agree that anybody trying to defame the man's good work, reputation, accusing him of asking for money, I think they don't know who they are talking about, right? Even those of us who are private companies for our services, I've never sat in, and I'm talking of years now, sat in any meeting with Dr. Falana or my team where he's saying, you people have not paid me money. It has never happened. Even whether it's paid on time or not, what matters is the job is always prioritizing the job. So I think it's important because we are in a day and age where people can just drag anybody's name, and I don't think it's right. We must give honor to whom honor is due. People have sacrificed their life, their name for the betterment of people. So I think that's what I would say concerning the topic. And I think he has the right to ask for, that justice is done, because I will probably do more. I have had a case where my lawyers followed up on a guy. He literally defamed us, even paid newspaper to carry some negative news about me. Let's just say he enjoyed kiri for some time, right? So yes, I'm not that nice. And I'm not ashamed to say it, because I've worked hard to build my name and my reputation. You can't just wake up and just write nonsense about me and think you go scot-free. Trust me, there are people who have been paid to make sure they deal with any of such nonsense.
All right, Dr. Stephen, you are here today, and the topic is a very, very hot topic. The topic is investing in the USA. Now, before I ask you any investment-based questions, how I saw you in the USA, you are like a goldfish. You cannot hide. I saw you in the USA doing your regular business. What do you think about the USA business terrain as compared to Nigeria? What are your thoughts?
Very good question. So I think honestly, by the way, I just want to take a sample. If you are watching us from North America, US, Canada, can you just indicate whether you're joining us from US or Canada or any of these North American countries? I will start by saying that it's a lot easier, but it's also a lot difficult than the freeze. So what do I mean? When we expanded to US, we had over $1 million to start business with, right? So we are in a different category. An average person moving to America has just sold their house, their everything they had in Nigeria, and barely was able to pay for flight tickets and accommodation for where they're going to stay. So they are not, to be honest, they are not always in my shoes, where in our case, we had a lot of money to start to expand our business in America with. Hence, it was a lot easier. That's why I say it's easier, because what then happened in our case was, for every 1 million naira I have, $1 million I have, I could chase a $4 to $5 million property. Let me say that again. For every $1 million I have, I could leverage it to be in control of a property worth between $4 to $5 million. You can't do that in Nigeria, because in Nigeria, every property you want to buy, you have to pay 100%, right? And you have to pay everything 100% down. But in those parts of the world, if you are a resident, you with Social Security with 15%, 20%, 30%, we try to do 30%, right? You can get the remaining 70% from institutional investors. And that makes it a lot easier compared to Nigeria. Number two, there are a lot of, everything is very regulated. As long as you're very trained, you're professional. I had to go to Harvard University to add to my knowledge for 2 years to learn real estate investment, particularly in the US, how it works. I had to learn from someone like Grant Cardone. Grant Cardone controls over $5 billion worth of real estate assets. I think almost 8 billion now. I had to get mentorship from him. It cost me over $250,000 that the freeze to get a mentor in the US who is way ahead, just to understand the market. I was already doing well in Nigeria, doing well in UK, doing well in Dubai, but I didn't want to assume that, UK experience or Dubai experience, right, was going to be what I needed for US. I wanted to be sure that we understood that market well. And it's little wonder, we're sitting on a $200 million project now that we're working on between now and the year 2030. So it's easier in America, I must confess, but it's also based on, your ability. How did you enter? Because if you are somebody who is still, on debts, credit card debts, card debts, mortgage, you have a bad credit, right? You can't be thinking of the kind of massive projects we are doing. You can't just be thinking of that. But the good news also, the third benefit is that it's based on merit. I'm not afraid that whether APC like my face or PDP like my face. I'm not afraid whether, somebody will come after me because something. You can't fight anything. If I have anything, I can still go to court, including if it's with law enforcement. I can fight for my rights. And I think that's one of the things I love about America. Everybody has equal rights to be able to fight for what they think is
what they
due,
believe.
or what they believe, and you can fight it through, and the law is going to be as just as possible to you. Unlike a certain part where you need to have connection, you need to do this, you need to do that, and things like that. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. I want to ask you a question. Which worries you more? Investing in Nigeria or investing in the US?
When you are putting it now, you make it look as if I'm trying to tell people not to invest in Nigeria, and that's not, and that's not what I'm trying
But
to do
from an investment point of view, because I've always been worried about this.
Yes.
I've always worried about this. So, what are your thoughts, Dr. Stephen?
My thought is different things, different advantages and different disadvantages. Yes, I'm more worried doing business in Nigeria. I'll give you an example. We just got a particular property recently and haven't dealt with the real owner. You won't believe this. And then our team started doing fence. Another person showed up with team of police and military that this 19 plots, the first 19 plots, because we bought over 20 acres, very larger than that. And they say the first 19 plots belongs to him, that the person who sold it to us had already sold it to him, and that we cannot continue defense work. Yes, Nigeria for you. Now, such cannot happen in America, for sure. Right? I can't have such an headache where I buy property from somebody and then another person is showing up to say, in few cases, but it's not rampant the way it happens here. So yes, you get more headache trying to do business in Nigeria because anything and everything is common, right? It got so bad, like I said, some years ago, I had to say, you know what, who is one of the best lawyers we can get? And that's how we had to get Falana to start, helping our legal issues because it got that bad. Different issues here and there. And sometimes, even this law thing, if the lawyer does not have SAN beside his name, right? The person we want, imagine you are fighting somebody who cheated you and your own lawyer is just normal lawyer. And the person that the other lawyer has SAN, okay, forget the matter. SAN will win. I'm telling the real fact about Nigeria. Yes, the person with the SAN go win. Yes, because the SAN thing in Nigeria is like a court. Even judges will respect an SAN in a court of law more than someone that is not an SAN. I'm not saying there are no few young lawyers who are still able to, cause trouble without SAN. No. But we're talking of generality of the challenges. So yes, there are a lot of those issues. In the US, on the other hand, once I do it by the books, once I buy it properly, I don't have a headache. I can go to bed. My money is secured, my property is secured. I don't need to wonder whether Monile will come and take my land. I don't need to wonder whether somebody will steal my land. It is there. So I think, yes, I get more worried about Nigeria. However, the advantage of Nigeria is that you will get more returns. So, for example, in Nigeria, I can buy a land that is freeze, and in 1 year, the land has more than double. I can sell it for double the price. I can't do that in America. I have to. In Nigeria, literally, you can buy a land. You do not even do anything with it to it. You do not even do first. You do not do anything, and then 1 year later, you can sell it double. That can happen in America, right? Even their law prohibits certain exorbitant, they call it price gouging, right? So if you if you overhype the price of whatever you're selling in America, you can be sued for that, right? So the kind of profit you will make in a developing world like Nigeria, you can't make it in America. So what I advise investors, balance the two. Have some investment here in Nigeria, have some investment in America, because you and I know that the freeze also that there are other issues that come up with investment in America. For example, you fail to pay your mortgage, they can, of course, foreclose on you. The city can foreclose on you. HOA is like their housing association, can foreclose on you just because that the freeze did not pay maybe $200 annual due of your housing association. They can sell your property and declare foreclosure. Yes, in America. So there are other areas also where there are issues here and there when it comes to America as well. So I always advise balance the two. Make sure that you have some investment locally here in Nigeria, or Africa, and you have some investment in the US. My video has been going viral that the freeze that I said education is overrated, and some people are giving some negative connotation to it. It's not on your show anyway. It was on Honest Bunch, because some people have been commenting here about it. My argument in that video was that education, and I wonder whether people read, overrated does not mean there's no value. It just means you can't rely on just the certificate, right? I studied microbiology. If I rely on just that microbiology certificate, I won't be where I am today. And I'm not talking of general education, I'm talking about formal education. Many of the curriculum they teach is 50-year-old, 40-year-old. So you come out and you are relying on just that outdated certificate, then it's overrated. So people shouldn't read unnecessary meaning to these things. I don't know why one will say something and then people will twist it another way.
Dr. Stephen, Oroi Gaju. Ogaju. I want to ask you, you've built a remarkable career in real estate and investments. Can you briefly share what inspired you to go to this America? How this aligns with your global vision? You see, Dr. Stephen Akintayo, my mother I come from a family of academics. And if there's one thing I agree with you on is education is overrated, especially formal education and tertiary education. I believe your primary school is not overrated, neither is your secondary education. You form the basis for your for your understanding of life in those two institutions. But you see, when it comes to tertiary education, I personally think it's overrated. And it's because I studied sociology in the university. Yes, it has helped me understand the society better. Yes, it has helped me in my preaching because I understand religion from a societal interactive perspective, from Marxism better. But I've never used my university degree to work before. When I went to Cool FM, I say this all the time. My first job was Cool FM, and it was my only job I ever did, my only official job until I resigned in 2022. And needed anything from me, literally. I don't know if I'm making sense to you. They never needed anything from me. What they needed from me was my voice. I had radio experience from Ibadan. And that gave me a glimpse into a future that may be a bit bleak. So yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly that education is overrated. I'm the least educated I'm the least educated child of my mother, and I'm not the least successful, and I'm not the least happy. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
All my sisters have PhD,
Mm-hmm.
masters. One is a medical doctor. I don't look at them and say, oh, I wish I read my book more. They buy new cars, I buy new cars. They take good care of their children, I take good care of my children.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
Now, the emerging world has shown that a person who has 10 different 2 weeks, 6 months, 1 year professional courses
Exactly.
is way better than
Exactly.
somebody who has a degree, because
Exactly.
that puts you in a more marketable point of
Absolutely. Yeah.
reference. So that I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Mm.
But I want us to talk about what funded the idea that you should go to the US, and why the US, why not Canada? Most Nigerians are running away to Canada right now. Why didn't you think of Canada or Germany or Europe or the UK? Why from Dubai you went to the USA? I want to hear from you, Dr. Stephen.
Thank you for that question. So, in fact, eh, let me say this: every progress in my life and business has always come from a place of pain. I find my people celebrating certain things in my life, and what they didn't know is that I got into those things from a place of pain, and God just turned it around for good. So I had this real estate deal in Dubai, and lost over $1 million. And then I stayed in Dubai for almost a year trying to get the legal system to help me get this money back. And I couldn't, right? In fact, the person who was involved even wrote, because I had to do a disclaimer that I no longer do business with that guy, because, one had lost a lot. And guess what? He still wrote Dubai police to say I defame him. Like $1 million, you've not refunded money back, and you still have the guts to say this guy did a disclaimer or I used my picture and spoil my name. And I was surprised that they took the case serious in Dubai. So I then asked, it dawned on me, I said, look, if I'm doing business at this level, I have to take countries where the law is strong, where I can fight and it's not based on, because later when I did my research, they said the lawyer the guy got is close to the ruling family. So you are hearing those, just similar to Nigeria, where you hear, person they strong to the president, or, you still have those elements in Dubai. The only advantage in Dubai is that it's not at the lower level. I don't know that you understand. Normal day to day, you don't experience it because everything is automated. But once you start doing business at a bigger level, even in Dubai, if you don't have a royal family backing you, right, Omo, you will suffer when if you don't have the royal family backing you. So I said to myself, I need to expand to countries where the law, right, can be fair to everyone. Whether I know the president of the United States or I don't, if I think somebody cheated me, I can take them to court and I can fight it through the legal system. So that was number, yes. So for me, that was number one. Why Next America? However, we are currently in the UK. Of course, not at the scale we are in the US, but we are already in the UK even before we started expanding to the US. But number two is also the financial system, right? In the US, there is a robust financial system. For every real estate transaction, there is already money waiting to look for serious people to support. And that the freeze, America is a magnifier. right, is a magnifier. What we commonize here, Omo, in America is a big deal. Let me give you an example. I remember one property I bought. The day I was to meet the landlord, you need to see how he was shouting my name. Oh, I Googled you. Oh, you have a Forbes page. You're a celebrity. You are a... And you guys, he was shouting like... In my mind, I said, in Nigeria, they don't call me celebrity. Now, there are people like that, they freeze. I have to enter. You know,
Ah.
in those places, for you to even have 100,000 people following you, almost you're a celebrity in America. So it's a magnifier, right? Things that, you know, you do that here in Nigeria, nobody is just general and common, right? In America, it's something that is big deal. And they love big thinkers. They love big ideas. Look at what Elon Musk, you know, was proposing. All right. Oh, I will. You remember, I will do an autonomous car. If it's in Nigeria, the first thing they will say is, Daddy Freeze, be careful, scammer, 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 scammer. Meanwhile, Elon Musk secured billions of dollars for his autonomous car that can drive itself. The same thing with the new jet. I don't know whether you watched that video of jets that will go up and come back by itself and can be reused. The rocket. Right? When he said it over 10 years ago, again, nobody was calling him scammer. In Nigeria, you come out now and say, I have a vision. They say, scammer, be careful. Now your hair, it goes so scam you. They load the scam. So, meanwhile, in America, you can sit down even with the mayor, with the governor, and even negotiate tax based on your invention, based on your ideas, and everybody's supporting you. Everybody thinks you have a good idea, right? But in Nigeria, everybody's a suspect. Everybody's a fraud. So the system does not support growth. And I hope the government officials can work on this in Nigeria, where we can build a system that supports growth, that supports risk-taking, that supports entrepreneurship, that supports people to come up with novel ideas, okay? And the government, everybody's saying, good job, kudos, let's support you. That, for me, is the way things are supposed to work. Those are the things I saw in America. Are you aware that I have gotten now three award from US government officials, and we're just about 1 year into our US operations? In fact, I've been nominated for the presidential award. I just told them, let's see who will win the election before I go and collect it. Now, I have done business in 16 years in Nigeria. No government official has ever thought that I deserve any award in 16 years, Daddy Freeze. That's the difference.
Wow. Even me, I just quiet. Now, one thing that we're talking about earlier on was empowering Africans to build wealth. You are notorious for empowering, in a good way, by the way, for empowering Africans to build wealth. Now, how does your extensive experience, your magnificent, your magnanimous experience in real estate, both in Nigeria and internationally, position you to be a leader in the US investment market?
Well, and again, thank you for that question. I always argue that Nigeria should celebrate the system they are in because it prepares you for other markets. And that's why I get a bit upset when I see people who are doing entrepreneurship here in Nigeria and then they leave Nigeria for Canada or UK or US and abandon entrepreneurship. I always get upset because I feel those systems, those countries will, help you when you are coming from, and with all the background, the challenges, no electric, you are your own power generating company, you are your own internet
Your own
provider,
security.
you are your own security, you are your own, all of it, right? All
Your
that,
own security guard, your own security.
you know, you are everything, right? All that you don't experience in this developed world. And so, but the good news is that Nigeria gives you street sense,
Street
smartness.
sense and street credibility.
There's also scam in America as well. There's scam in UK, there's scam in US, there's scam everywhere. One of my friend was was almost literally, he almost lost over $5 million in real estate. How did it happen? He bought the property, and you know how you buy a property, maybe the day you close was the middle of the month, right? Now, they did not put in the contract who will collect money, the rent for that month, because it was middle. He had assumed once I close, I'll collect the rent for that. And this is like almost 100 different apartments. So that rent alone is over $100,000 or something. Do you know the seller literally, after collecting 5.5 million, took this, my friend, to court in America, right? That he cannot collect the rent for that month. That because he closed in at the middle of the month. This is a true story. So my friend, because the lawyer quickly got an injunction that pending when that court case will be handled, he should be collecting the rent, and they gave him that order. So he started collecting rent. It took 2 years that they freeze for this case to be handled. 2 years later, he had gotten about $2 million or so out of the money. The case was ruled in his favor, but guess what? This man declared bankruptcy, and boom, that was the end. Once you declare bankruptcy, all the assets goes. And if not that he had collected at least 2 point something million, he still had to lose almost $3 million out of that deal in America. So there are there are challenges everywhere in the world in business, and you can lose money anywhere in the world. But it's a lot easier when you have the Nigerian street sense. You will look at things twice. Even in America, as I speak to you, I already have at least 4 lawyers, and I don't have a single court case. Just being smart enough. Yes, 4 lawyers already. Different aspects of law. Already, I have 4 lawyers in America as we speak. So you have to literally law up and guide yourself. But all those things come from experience. So the experience I got in Nigeria and Dubai, all that helped me, to be able to position properly in America. And we thank God for the growth, for the expansion.
And I'm proud of you for the growth and the expansion, Dr. Stephen, because you are indeed in a terrain that is not easy to operate in. Let's talk about your scary $200 million project in America. Can you give an overview of what this project entails? And why it's such a game changer for investors? As in $200 million. If they use person, papa, person, mama, person begin do ritual, you know, go still reach $200 million.
Well, so the beauty of America is, we're only bringing 30% of that $200 million. The rest is coming from institutional investors, right? And the advantage that the phrase that we have is because we've built credibility. I'm not sure I've told you this, that as I speak to you, we're having different institutional investors on our neck. Everybody wants to invest in our deal. Everybody every institutional, every lender is excited to invest. And you know, and that's why you need to build credibility over the years. Because once they Google the name of the company, once they Google my name, what they find, what we've done before, begin to speak for us. And everybody's like, we want to do business with you. So for me is, I'm excited about it. You know, the goal is actually more than the $200 million. The goal is that in the next 5 years, we want to do over $1 billion property under our management in the next 5 years. That's where we are going. So the 200 million is just the phase one. And we have a 99-acre we are turning to a green and smart estate. So the front part will be commercial. The middle, we are putting a golf course. And then the back, we're selling land for those who want to buy land. The second project we're working on is our office. You remember we bought an office for $1.6 million. So the front of the office has a lot of land. So we want to build a 6-story commercial building on it, right? Because we have enough land in front of the office, and people who are in US can visit our office. You know, once you book, you can come around, and you've done a couple of events. We still have some events we're putting together in November. I think we have one free real estate event, and you can come to the office. We would love to have you around in KT. So the third project is a 89 units, 2-bedroom, 2 and 3 bedroom property. It already has the horizontal permits. So, you know, once we get the vertical permit, we start constructing 89 housing units. And then the fourth project is a 24 units in Tidwell. Tidwell is just about 12 minutes from downtown Houston, and is about 15 minutes, 16 minutes to Bush International Airport. So that one is a 24-unit apartment, 1-bedroom apartment. We're not selling that. We just want to rent it out for the next 10 years and be getting rental income and then sell it after 10 years, right? So those are the 4 projects that, you know, what is going into them constitute about $200 million. But we have some new projects we will soon launch next year. We have a 2,000 farm land, 2,000 acre farmland close to Dallas, Texas, we're about to acquire. And I love that because, you know, I'm in talk with even Alibaba. We're looking at doing like, so I don't know whether you've been to Disney before. If you have been to Disney, Daddy Freeze, did you go to the African village in Disney when you went to Disney? Did you go to the African village? Did you
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. If you go to Disney and you go to the African village, you will be embarrassed. You know, the only thing they put there is goats, maybe alligator to depict Africa. I'm not kidding you. And people pay so much money to go and experience Africa. The only other thing is that they have this train that will take you to the place. You know, all those old train that will have a portmanteau on top, right? That's the experience you get when going to the African village in Disney. Anybody who has been to Disney and went to African village, I'm sure you confirm what I'm talking about. So myself and Alibaba are discussing some ideas about really creating a real African experience. If I'm using the map of Africa,
that one will be sweet. I can, because of that one, come to America.
And even using it in form of the African map. So we designed the whole thing, and every African country we have like their own studio, you know, that depict and paint the real African heritage. And people can always go there every Independence Day of every African nation. You know, diplomats come there, have an experience, a whole type of Disney, but telling an African story, right? So there's a lot cooking up that we are working on. Yes, it's a long-term project. The first one of 99 acre we're targeting concluding by the year 2030. The office one, we're targeting concluding that by the year 2027. The 89 units as well, 2027, while the 24 units will be completed by the end of 2025, first quarter of 2026. So different project, different timeline, but we're excited. And what I think we should encourage under the freeze, this is important. Whether you can invest or you can't invest, send goodwill. Is very important. Send goodwill. I have an issue when your fellow African brother is attempting something, and the only thing you can say is negative. I don't think that's how we will grow, right? Other cultures don't do that. You not see an Indian attempting something in the US, and another fellow Indian is saying something negative, and say, it can't work. You don't mind them. You won't see that. You won't see that with the Chinese. Is only, even some African countries, you won't see that. But we Nigerians, particularly, about another. When I see, even in the same real estate, somebody is doing well, I wish him all the best. I go celebrate them. I pray for them. I wish everything works out well. That, I think, is what all of us can do. Some can invest, some can. The fact that you can invest today does not mean you will not invest tomorrow. The fact that the business may not directly help you today does not mean tomorrow you will not need this same business. I've seen people say bad things about me when I started our business in Nigeria, come back and seek for a job from me. And I reminded them some of the negative things they said in my small days when I just started. And they would just be saying, it's the devil, it's the devil. We are sorry. So we need to build a new mindset, because when Elon Musk moved from South Africa, that he freeze, to Canada and then to the US, and started all this from X to PayPal to Tesla, did you see any South African come out and say, we know Elon Musk? It takes South Africa is America. You think who in his generation has done electrical? What nonsense is he talking about? Not scam. Forget. No South African said that. So we need, and today, whether you believe Elon Musk could do it or not, is he not doing it now? Wouldn't it be a shame for you to have said he can't do it and then he did it now? Right? All of those scientists who were mocking Elon Musk, is everybody not burying their head in shame now? So for me, is whether you believe in this project or not, it will happen. And we'll all be alive to do it. When we started here too in Nigeria, that's how people carry stories. Today, they're all seeing with their eye. When I moved to Dubai, the same thing. Who is he? He came to Dubai, he's living in Burj Khalifa, tallest building, driving Rolls Royce. Who is he? Well, we know what the story of Dubai is today, right? In 1 week, in some days, a week, we sell over $1 million in Dubai operation in 1 week in properties that we sell, right? But when we started, it was a humble beginning too. But see what it is today. And the same thing will happen anywhere else in the world we expand to. So let's be proud of our own. Let's support our own. Nobody is perfect. No business is perfect. But we don't need to go about, pulling people down. We don't need it. Right? Let's wish each other well. Yeah.
So Nigerians have PhD without going to school. Pull him down syndrome.
I like that. Pull him down syndrome.
Or pull her down.
I'm hearing that for the first time. I like that. Pull him down syndrome.
So, Dr. Stephen, I want to ask you another question. Because it is a very interesting session. Africans are looking to invest, but they are concerned, and I will not lie, this concern is real. They are concerned about the legitimacy and security of projects. What steps do you personally, as Dr. Stephen Akintayo, take to ensure that your investments investors can trust the process. It's one thing to have a process, and it's another thing to trust the process. What steps do you take for your investors to trust the process, particularly with this large-scale project?
Beautiful. I mean, you and I agree with me that we didn't necessarily need to have a $1.6 million office, right? But that was for us number one step we needed to take so that people could see that they can come to our US office. They can talk to us. We do event time to time in our US office. I also just bought a property by 3.3 acre. I think, thank you, by the way, you put it on your page. Thank you for sharing. Again,
welcome. I don't have a PhD. I don't have an academic PhD. Neither do I have a player hating degree. There are two types of PhD.
I mean,
there is academic PhD and player hating degree.
So
when you hate a player,
yes,
they don't do you anything.
They don't do anything.
They don't do you anything. You don't hate them.
You know, I thank you for doing that, because some people are not happy for good news, right? So sharing the property, I appreciate you doing that. So I just bought a house, and all that were also intentionally done. I mean, to make sure people know we're on ground. This is not some, you know, we're on ground, and so that's first. I'm on ground. Personally, I'm going to be staying more in the US than anywhere else, or from now onwards, just to personally supervise all the projects we're doing. Number two, we've created a very transparent process. And if you notice, I mean, you have been working with us for a while now. And
yes,
you remember, I think, I'm not sure if I remember, my team told me one of the first time we wanted you to, you know, promote one of our projects in Nigeria, that you asked if it was necessary for you to go there physically. And I remember saying to the team, I said, we always want people to go there so that you are promoting it, you are confident yourself of what you are promoting. You were there, right? There's no project we do in Nigeria that anybody can come and tell you nonsense about, because you were there. There's none of our projects in Nigeria we've asked you to promote that you have not been there yourself. So you saw it, and you know how real it is. And the same thing we have continued to do. Dr. Cosmos visited us 2 weeks ago in the US and toured. If I took him 4 hours to go to all the projects we have, you know, some of the video I think you posted as well. I mean, he sends a lot of his prayers and well wishes. We're always doing videos to show people we're on ground. This is real. You can monitor things as they progress. You can visit yourself and see as they progress. But the good news is we also have office in Nigeria. We have office in Dubai. So, you know, you are dealing with a company that, you know, they're not going anywhere. They are everywhere. And you can always go. And the business is also not a one-man business. There are solid people who work in the business, solid professionals who are in our company. So for me, and we have history that refers, you and I agree with me that you cannot sustain something for 16 years of delivering value to people, of keeping your promises for 16 years across the globe. I think that counts for something. One of the things I always say is that if you jump up, right, you will come down. But if you grow up, you will stay up. The story of our company is that we grew up. We didn't jump up. We didn't just jump and emerge from anywhere. There are probably people, I'm not sure, who are watching me now, that the freeze who can tell you they knew me 10 years ago and they knew where I was. There are people, probably people watching me now, who will tell you they knew me 15 years ago and they knew how I was selling bulk SMS. There are people who will tell you now they know the various phases of our journey. That Stephen Akintayo did not just blow, right?
He grew, did not just he matured.
Exactly, we grew, you know, step by step. You can see, They were here last year. They are here now. They are going here tomorrow. So, and that's been our journey. Is something you can track. And there are credible people who have identified with us by the virtue of our track record. Again, we are not perfect. There's no perfect business that frees. You and I know. But you know, we can show you 2, 3, 4, 5 people who have done business with us who will tell you, I dealt with these people to the best of their ability. They did well with me. I've always shared this story of a man who sent us $1 million in our Dubai business. We've never met. There was no contract signed at the freeze. We did not sign the paper. The company and this guy, and he sent $1 million. The day he came to collect the key to his property, I remember sitting him down in our Dubai office. I said, Oga, why did you trust us that much? You know, I mean, what if it was not real?
What if we are running away with your money?
What if we are running away with your money? It's a lot of money. And the man laughed and laughed. And, you know, he said, well, that he has studied me. He has watched all my videos. And he just knew that this guy is too intelligent for $1 million to be a big deal. His brain,
because once you run away with $1 million, you have blocked the chance of 800 million, 200 million.
Exactly. You stop the chance. So he said, something in me just saw sincerity in you. And I just knew that I could trust you. And I remember saying to him, I said, but honestly, you put pressure on me because I was worried that somebody can trust me like that. And you know, to that level.
So
today that's been our story.
Was now on you to deliver.
To deliver. That if somebody can trust you to a point that I did not sign anything with you and send you that kind of money, you cannot betray such a trust. You cannot. Right?
It's not
you
that
cannot.
You cannot. You can, but you dare not. Anybody can, but you dare not.
Because
you are now playing with your future.
Yes. I don't know your background. When I started the freeze, many people didn't give me a chance. Many people did not believe I was going to succeed. Right?
Me. So even my family did not give me a chance. So now from home, I the chancelessness start before I even reach outside.
So for me, if you can trust me like that, I'm like, we'll prove you right. And I'm happy we did that for that man. Till tomorrow, he talks about it. Of course, these are people who not necessarily come out publicly, but in his inner circle, he always tell people one person he trusts is Dr. Stephen. So for me and that's how we've grown, because people always ask me, you are not from a rich home. How did you get here? I said, I made trust. And so people constantly till tomorrow are willing to risk their money, do business with us, and we have done our best. In the case where there are issues, we always communicate it. I always say to our management staff, always communicate challenges, because integrity is saying what you mean and letting your yes be yes and your no be yes.
Yes, and your no be no.
And your no be no. However, in the case where things happen beyond your control, where your yes cannot be yes and your no cannot be no, also communicate it. Let people know, right, that this is where we are. This is the challenges we are facing. Show evidences so people can know. Unfortunately, most people don't do business that way. Once there is a challenge, they disappear. Nobody can find them. Nobody can trace them. That's not how business is done. Business will always have challenges, but learn to communicate it when things don't go the way you plan, right? Land in Ibejuleki, the first land, after we paid money, did they want to take possession? Youth came out. They said, no. The second one.
You don't do me before.
We tried another land.
I want to come and see my land.
We tried another land elsewhere. This one was a chieftain of a major political party. I will not mention the party. And before we paid the woman, she was boasting. I am the chieftain of this party in this Lagos state. I cannot mess up with my reputation. And she's a woman. We believed that. We made payments. After making payment, the freeze. The day we brought signage, she was an agent. That one couple, she did not. She told them she wants to help the family sell the land, and they told her to go and look for. And the one couple, she did not pay. We call her. She started telling us stories. Yes, yes. Cut the long story short, I lost all that money. I remember calling all the investors one by one in shame. And I said to them, I said, the money you invested, we lost it. I said, but as the Lord liveth, I will pay you back. Give me more time. You know, and you will not believe it. We paid every one of them. You know, money from books, you know, I do public speaking, I make money from coaching. We shall gathered it, and I paid every single one of them. And I did not pay them that they free, not because I felt, you know, any pressure. Incidentally, they were nice people. They all believed me and gave me more time. But I paid them because my own conscience will not be clear. You know, it's not a different thing between, it's not that they bought house and then we gave them the house. They said they don't like it. Or they bought land and they said they want their money back. These people gave cash that we should go and use it to do real estate and give them back the capital and the return. Different. These are two different cases, right? I made sure they got their money back, all of them. So for me, and that's what I was saying about integrity. It is you dirty your yes be yes, your no be no. And in the case where beyond your control, you cannot keep to your word. To things that are beyond your control, you must communicate it. I felt really ashamed calling those people, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And today I am glad.
No choice.
Yeah, today I'm glad because it's one of the boasting rights that I have today. Some of them we meet at events and they will just stand up and say, I know this man. I can vouch for this man, right? I had this experience with him. I had this experience with him. So integrity cannot be, transparency cannot be removed from integrity. You must be willing to communicate what you're doing, how you're doing it, and the challenges you're experiencing. For me, that is what has kept our business this far.
Dr. Stephen, that is absolutely amazing by any standard. Anyone who can sail through this is really ready to be an entrepreneur. And not just an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. Now, you've offered several products under the $200 million initiative, from land to guaranteed ROI investments and housing. Can you break down each of these products with the key benefits investors can expect? $200 million. What is the ROI? Let us start from there. I'm sorry I'm asking you this question, but this is a very tough. In Nigeria, if they don't hear 40% per month, not in the year, 40% a year is impossible, but they want it monthly.
Well, when people ask this kind of question, I always say we are not a Ponzi scheme. Let me start with that disclaimer. And when you're doing investment internationally, Daddy Freeze, your ROI has to be reasonable. It has to be something that even the government can look at and they can say, okay, this makes sense. This is realistic for this guy to be able to do this business and make this much and pay this much, right? A lot of people have run into crisis in developed world, and they didn't know that the beginning of the crisis was that the FBI or whoever is investigating the case looked at it and said, first of all, the return you promised these people is not realistic. If you have watched American Greed, you know, they air it on CNBC, American Greed. If you have watched those series, you will see that the first proof that something is a Ponzi scheme is unrealistic returns on investment. That's the first proof, right? Right? Unrealistic returns on investment. So once you are mentioning figures that is, I shared this with people to educate. I said there are 3 levels of risk in investment. We have what we call high risk investment. Any business, any investment promising you over 25% any in a year is once it's above 25%.
Even in Nigeria, in any country in the world, back.
No. You know, the developing countries chunk out higher returns, just that the risk is also higher. The risk that the thing will not work is high, right? While developed countries, the returns are lower, okay, but the security is stronger. Yes, so the risk is lesser. So in America, 25% and above is already high risk in a year. When you are looking at something between, 8% up to 15%, you can call it a mid-risk in America. And then low risk are from 1% to 7%. It's called low risk.
That's
investment.
Like government bonds.
Bonds, yes, bonds, fixed deposits, even with your bank, even Wells Fargo, I think that did a promo for 4-point-something% recently. So those are low risk. Insurance, low risk returns. So we need to understand that clearly. So anytime, and I need to say this, that the freeze, because if we don't say, you see people say, oh, the returns is low. The returns is low because we are not a Ponzi scheme, and we cannot, do unrealistic returns. So what we give in returns on a yearly basis starts from 6% and, stretches to as high as 15%, depend on how much you invest. So the higher the amount you invest, the higher the returns. But because we are in that mid-risk spectrum, and real estate really is a mid-risk investment. It's not high and it's not low. Right? It's in that mid-risk range. So, but let me break down some of the projects. So the 99-acre, what we've done is a unique, by the way, we're launching it December. I've told Daddy Freeze, all of you, if you want to see Daddy Freeze in America, please type come to America. Let's see how many people want to see Daddy Freeze in America. Just type come to America, Daddy Freeze. Everyone. Okay. Because I would love to have Daddy Freeze around,
even
in America.
Come around. It's long overdue.
Yes. So we'll be doing our first allocation in December on the 99-acre. So we are giving people opportunity to own a land in America. We call it land banking. Land banking simply means is a business model in real estate where you buy land for the purpose of development or investment. You are buying the land, you are living for another 5 to 10 years. And you make good money. So we're giving people opportunity to buy up to 1 acre minimum. You can buy 2 acre, you can buy 3 acre, you can buy 4 acre, but 1 acre minimum in Brookshire, Texas. Brookshire is not far from Katy, so we're giving people that opportunity and you can invest. So that's the first way you can do. Just buy your 1 acre from us. By December, we allocate it to you. We're also giving people opportunity to just deposit and then spread the balance. So in other words, you can just deposit as low as $50,000 or low, and then you spread the balance within 6 to 12 months for your 1 acre. We only have 50 slots for this. and it started moving. So there are a few slots left. The other way people can invest is and that works for our housing, the commercial real estate, for the 89 units we're building, and for the 24 units, is to just invest and get returns on investment, right? Like I've mentioned, where we give between 6% to 15% based on how much you invest. So those are the two options. Either you are buying land from us, or you are buying, you are just investing. We use your money to expand, and then we give you returns out of the profit that we make. By the grace of God, from 2026, we will also start selling houses. In fact, we're starting next year. We're selling houses as well, for those who want to buy off plan. And then from 2026, we will have already fully built units that people can pay for and just move in. But for now, either they buy land or they invest for a return, and we're able to keep doing business with the investment and give them a portion of the money. I always say this, that the freeze, one of the best way to become financially free is for you, okay, to have money work for you instead of working for money. In America, everybody is working for Uncle Sam, right? 2 job, overtime. And if you're not careful, you look back years later, you have not even done anything for yourself. And you'll be shocked how time flies, right? But if you can take the risk and gradually begin to put something aside towards your future by partnering with somebody that has integrity, that has credibility, to say, okay, I'll be investing my money and I want returns. Over 10 years, you'll be shocked how much you will have put together for yourself. And that's really because people ask me, we did a training and said, here in America, it's not easy to save money because you are paying tax, you are paying bills. And I said, one of the ways is just look for an investment and just, be putting something every month, just be putting. Years later, you will have come up with something. But to be looking for that bulk money, you may never be able to find it, right? And when money start working for you, you put in, $20,000 is the minimum investment we take. We used to take 10,000, but Daddy Freezer, as you know, I learned years ago that you must be careful who you bring into your business, because there are certain people who just want to use it to brag. So I'll give you an example. I realized that my big end clients do not even want me to mention their name, that they did transaction with me.
Absolutely.
Right? They want it private, they want it confidential. But guess the ones that want the whole world to know is the one that invested $10,000 or $5,000. But Stephen here, I invested some money with him. He won't tell you the amount until you ask him, right? Right. So I intentionally be careful to say, hey, whoever will invest with us, let's be sure, one, they are financially stable, right? They've been able, because for you to cough out $20,000, it most likely will be a passive income. Because I would tell people, when it comes to investment, don't use your emergency funds for investment. Don't do it, right? It should be money that you don't need urgently that you should put into investment. I remember many years
Not
ago,
your urgent 2K.
this was the beginning years of our business. A lady
Not your urgent
was to buy
2K.
Exactly. She was to buy, land from us. She deposited 150,000 at the freeze. She deposited Friday. By Monday, she came back, said her mother is sick. She needs 150,000 back. We are not a bank that was saving the money so that when you will come back and ask for it back. Why they were saying she had gone to our WhatsApp group. Oh, they have scammed me. How much did they scam you? 150,000. So I learned from that experience that don't there are certain type of investor you should not take, right? So that you do not attract people who just pull down your brand, your name down. See, tomorrow, if you ever hear my name negatively outside at the freeze, it is somebody who invested chicken change and said he called the office, they did not pick his call on time, and he's angry. Right? The big investors, understand how business is. They are patient with you. They go through due process. They are willing to fill the form. It's the smaller ones that say, no, I'll talk to your boss. Your boss. Who is he? Is it not my money is flying up and down? Traveling. I don't see.
So I'm not supporting pastors. I'm not supporting pastors. But person where they earn 20K a month, where in tithe now 2K, go say pastor they use in tithe buy fuel for in jet. say now in tithe they use they buy fuel for him for aeroplane.
So that they are 2K they use buy private jet.
Now they use buy petrol for inside the private jet. Now, for Nigerians and for foreign investors, the idea of real estate abroad can be very, very complicated. How do you simplify these things? African investors, Nigerian investors in particular, need to understand the taxation system. They need to understand what it means to invest in the USA. Okay, if I invest and I make £5,000 or $5,000 profit, do I have to pay tax? Who do I pay tax to? Can I bring my money to Nigeria? So there are lots of these questions that people are asking. How do you simplify the process to make investment easier for the people?
Very good question. I'm trying to type. Somebody is asking for number to call. So I'm giving a number now. If you can help me pin it. But it's all strictly WhatsApp chats. Don't call, just WhatsApp chats. State your full name. State your full name and your inquiry, or you email info@gtechshomesusa.com. But please and please no call, just chat on WhatsApp. That's all. But very good question. If you can
Before you start,
okay,
I want to give you a joke, Dr. Stephen.
Yes.
They said there was a swimming pool, and there was a man who needed to get everybody into the swimming pool. People were refusing to enter the swimming pool. He went to meet the Irishman. He said, if you jump inside the swimming pool and stay for 30 minutes, you get a gallon of beer. Irishman will like beer. He dived inside the water. He went to meet the American. He said, there are 3 gold bars at the bottom of this pool. There are 3 gold bars at the bottom of this pool. And the American hear gold, he jumped inside. He went to meet the Englishman. He said, the Queen's crown is at the bottom of this pool. Englishman to jump inside. He went to meet the Chinese man. He said, there is a mine under this pool where you can mine for gold and diamond. The Chinese man jumped inside the water. He can't reach the Nigerian. He don't look the Nigerian.
I want to hear
don't
the Nigerian.
Enter this water. Don't enter this water. Before he look back, the Nigerian don't jump inside. So anything where you tell Nigerian man to do, the Nigerian man go do the opposite. So don't call the number. Don't call. WhatsApp. In fact, you had said call the number, they will WhatsApp. So maybe next time we'll say call the number. This is the number. +1 44 3790 3925. +1 44 3790 3925. WhatsApp, sorry. If I say WhatsApp now, I will be in call. And can you be obedient? Can you not behave like Nigerians for 1 minute? +1 44 37 903 925. Send a WhatsApp message now. Dr. Stephen, over to you.
I just can't stop laughing. Well, so good question. Don't worry. Somebody said I have to speak to someone to make proper inquiry. Don't worry. Someone will still even call you. But obey the first instruction, right? Take it easy, right? The first number being given to you is for you to chat. State your full name and why you are reaching out. And once you state that, the reason is because there are different people in charge of different things, right? Once you detail what you are looking for, then we can direct you to say, this person will call you or that person will call you, and they'll give you all the information. Don't worry, okay? But back to the first question. It's important to know that investing in developed countries, not just America, is different from Africa. However, even if you don't live in the US, you can invest in the US. In fact, I will argue with you that it is part of the reason why you can get visa. Okay? I'll give you an example. I once went for a residency interview in the US, and everybody I saw that day that they did not give them visa. Virtually everybody I saw. But I mean, we're almost 100 that were ahead of me. Not one. Everybody was just saying, come back another day. Sorry, come back another day. When it was my turn, we got talking. I said, oh, I just bought some properties in the US. I bought this for 1 point so million. I bought this for 3 point so million. You know, and I asked the interviewer, I said, what do you think of my chances of success in the US? So, oh, you're going to do well in America. You're going to do well. Oh, you're going to do well in America.
America will need your leg. America does not need lazy man. America is not communist. America is capitalist.
It's
No
capitalist.
food for lazy man.
Exactly.
It's America.
Yeah.
If you are lazy, you will not eat.
It's like she was smiling. Everybody else, oh, sorry, come back another day. When it was my turn, I said, no, you're going to do well. You're going to do well in America. America, oh, you're welcome. I said, chai. So I tell people, as much as when it comes to visa, it's strictly in the hands of the interviewer. But you owning assets in the US already gives you a higher leverage because you can boast and say, hey, I have not even been to your country, but I have this investment, I have this investment, I have that investment. It allows them to say, well, they can take you serious. You're a high net worth individual and you're the kind of people that they want to see in their country. Also, we have been helping people who invest with us up to 200,000 to link them with our immigration lawyers to be able to cancel them, because some of these things are very easy. Moving to America, living in America is not that difficult. But
it's not difficult at all.
It's not.
If Samaria and Sabio can do it, you can do it.
Exactly. You just need professionals to work with you. I have never done anything immigration where it involves residency that I don't involve a professional. I don't do it. I don't believe in that nonsense. And so one of the things with those who work with myself, my staff, our immigration lawyers, we always link them with our investors. For those who want either residency or they want to visit or they're looking at expanding their businesses, we always try to work, and link them up with professionals who will help them. Number three that you need to note if you want to invest in America and you are not an American or you don't live in America, is that when it comes to repatriating your money, you can do that with no hassle. Everybody investing with us, we are able to return your money to you, tax or no tax, right? As long as you are not investing through our American entity. So what we did was, those who are Americans are investing through our American entity. Those who are not Americans are investing through non-American entities, so that they are not, you are not under the pressure for tax. But if you don't live in America and you are insisting you want to invest and you want to pay tax, what you can do is called ITIN. ITIN. You can apply for ITIN. You know, where with an ITIN is an opportunity for you who is a non-resident to still pay tax if you want to pay tax, right? But the way we've done it is up to the investor. Once you are not, of course, if you are in the US, you know how to pay your tax. And
100%.
if you also want it to be tax deductible, there are also ways around it. You can, you know, consult your tax professional. They will guide you on how you can do real estate asset, because real estate asset at the freeze allows you to, if you do it in certain way, not to pay tax on the returns. But you have to work with a professional who will guide you on how. Yeah, so they work with you and say, okay, this is how to go about it. So I always insist, whatever you want to do, you know, we Nigerians love shortcuts. It's my brother, you should do it for me for free. It's my cousin. Let him come, and people have run into big trouble because they were not working with professionals. To set up, we set up a fund, you know, for people to be able to invest with us in US. We needed to set up a fund under Article D of the SEC. We filed it with the US Security Exchange. And you will not believe it. It cost me $25,000, that the fees, for the lawyer that helped us to put it together. $25,000. Just to do it is a particular type of company registration that allows us to be able to collect investors' money and put that money into real estate. I had to pay $25,000 to lawyer alone that put it together, right? So many of our people have run into trouble. I'm not going to mention him. There are stories that have gone around of an aviation company in Nigeria that FBI is investigating. And do you know that thing is just based on bad advice? Do you know it's just based on bad advice? Something that could have been done through a LLC. Somebody advised and say, no, do it through your charity. You know, and these things always come when you don't engage professionals, right? Because they'll be telling you it's a shortcut, it's a shortcut, it's a shortcut, but the end result and the embarrassment these things will cause, right? And when our people here, they won't even understand that what they call money laundering in America, that the freeze, is just as simple as that the freeze. You move money from one account. Let's assume you have a US account and $1 million enter that US account. Do you know immediately they will start investigating you for money laundering until you can prove where that money came from? FBI can start investigating you for that, right? So a lot of our people do not even understand these things. So when you hear money, I remember one of my mentors years ago, and you know, this was in the 80s. You know, an FBI agent stopped him and said, we are holding for money laundering. How did you have this kind of money in your account? He said, I did not wash the money. It's my money. I made it. He didn't get the joke. He said, I did not wash it.
He thought he took it to the laundry, to
the
laundromat.
Yeah, I mean, those things were not popular. They said, I don't take it to the laundry. It's my money. You know, I did not. But to them, you move all money from here to here, and you cannot show document to back it up. It's an issue. So I tell people, you have to, and that's one of the things with GTEx. You know, the fact that we've done business internationally had helped us to be very structured and very, you know, formal in our way of doing this, because we've seen it all. And you just have to be extremely careful about everything to show you do things by the books.
By the book, Dr. Stephen, by the book. Because if you don't do things by the book, now problem you they find.
Now the problem they find it.
Now problem you
Once our
define. Now
people
problem.
here say FBI, they don't even want to hear the true story. They don't the FBI is after him or FBI. They won't even they don't even know that there are cases where people have proven their innocence, even with FBI. Right? So
No,
but
they don't want to hear that.
once the news goes out, nobody wants to hear otherwise. So doing things by engaging professionals, by it's one thing I always recommend our people do, right? If you are filing taxes, engage a professional to help you file your tax, right? If anything you're doing, do it properly. Don't just my uncle, my cousin, my brother-in-law, because you just want it free. Engage professional, pay them the right fees that you need to pay, and get them to do things for you properly. And you will enjoy the benefit.
Properly. That is one place when we Nigerians have to. We are not used to doing things properly. We are used to backdoor, everything backdoor. And you'll be amazed that it's actually cheaper and safer if you go through the front door. It's actually both cheaper and safer. For those looking to invest in land, how does land ownership in the US work, and what are the opportunities available through your projects for foreign investors, Dr. Stephen?
Beautiful question. Very good question. So for those who are investing in land, and that's the beautiful thing GTEx is doing, and they may not get it elsewhere. In US, you have to pay tax. And so if you're doing land banking with us, what we have come up with, and I think this is good news, for those who want it, when you buy land from us, if you want it, we will put, because what we normally do is to apply for agric exemption. So in places where we should have been paying, I'm just giving an example, where we should have been paying, let's say, $2,000 every year on tax that it frees. Because we are on agric exemption, we can be paying $50 a year. So
is agric exemption legal?